What is going on, YouTube and Y'all Squad? This is your boy Yocrates. This is your review for Real Housewives of Potomac Season 9, Episode 11. I just want to say I knew this episode was going to end the way that it ended. I knowed it. I knowed it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to the review. Now, I'm going to admit, like, the last half of the episode was nice. I enjoyed it. It was fun. And this is like I always say, like, we don't always need all this crazy drama and yelling with the housewives shows. It can be fun and enjoyable. So let's jump in. So we get Mia, Jeremiah, and Juju. Like I said, a day out is like an indoor obstacle course. She wants them to know that their opinions are being heard. Don't really care. We get Stacy, Giselle, and Karen. We found out that Arabella is a great swimmer. She is winning awards. Look, love to hear it. And even though we don't really know how Arabella identifies, if she identifies as black, but again, even as a biracial child, that is, has African running through her blood and whatnot. I love to see it. All right, go ahead, do some big and bad things. Karen says she's going to have a Love Lagoon party because she's had love themed parties in the past, which is cool. We find out that TJ is auditioning in LA and he comes to Potomac, during his downtimes. And she has known TJ for about a year and, know that he's got fear. And they just like, and what that mean? Both Karen and Giselle feel like, okay, he probably has a whole nother life when he's in LA compared to when he's here in Potomac. Stacy don't want to hear it, and we just gonna let that be what it is. So pretty much all the girls, to include Jack, are at a boutique. And Wendy is hosting this. She wants them to do a liberation celebration in Panama. So it appears that this is going to be the, out of the country trip. Can't wait to see how this pans out. Kay says she prefers, big Europe cities and places and whatnot, which is cool. It is one of those where that can come off very snooty, elitist, and it could, offend the people of Panama. But I mean, if that's what she likes, that's what she likes, right? I'm just saying. But I'm like, ugh, just a little, yeah. Mia thinks of inviting Jack, and she says that I think to Ashley and maybe Stacy, and they kind of look like, I don't know. And Mia actually goes and asks Karen, and she's like, well, Gordon can't come, and he's not gonna be here before she could finish. Karen like, nope, hell to the no, to the no, 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 hell, and to the no. So I'm like, alrighty then. Very upfront with like, nah, this ain't what we doing, right? Um, and then Jack is pretty much saying like, oh, I didn't want to go no way, and shut it up. So now we get Kay, Greg, and her brother Brian. Kay thought that it might have possibly been Panama City in Florida. I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard Panama, I did think Panama City, Florida. Been there, lovely. But then I had to remember, like, no, this has to be the out of the city trip. So again, nothing like I'm not finna dig her on that. And again, I can be forthcoming by saying like that is where my mind initially went, but that's the context. She brings up, that the theme is liberation, and amongst the group there have been 3 divorces. And Greg's whole thing is that's not because of the show, is it? Looking very concerned. And we find out that, he's pretty much not a big fan of being on the show and is doing it to support her, but doesn't really feel like he's supporting her. And my thing is, get all that and whatnot, but he's so worried about divorce rates is y'all ain't even married, and it don't look like nowhere close to. There's talks with her brother and Greg about marriage and what, not marriage, but more or less her performing wifely duties as a girlfriend. Cause he wants dinner, this, that, and the third, and She says, her love language, is like admiration and all the other stuff. His is respect, order, and food. Very patriotic, very archaic, very caveman. But again, I'm one of those where if like I said, why buy the cow when I can get the milk for free? That's probably how he thinking. And again, I ain't finna give Greg too much on this particular episode, on this particular review. I gave him a lot last week and on the panel. But all I'm gonna say is, like, sir, you can expect it all day long, but if you're not, all I'm gonna say is this: if he wants this from her, then he needs to pretty much be the man that the men were all the way back when they had to take care of everything, because women at that time, I think it was like in the early 1960s, if I'm not mistaken, when women could finally have bank accounts, so they had to rely on the men for everything. So pretty much with that, saying all that to say, he needs to be that type of man to where he's paying for everything, and she's working because she wants to and doesn't have to. And what he makes doing what he does is more than enough to take care of the both of them two times around. But I'm gonna leave it alone because, like I said, I don't want to give him too much because he didn't piss me off this episode. So we get Stacy and Andorra. Their relationship is more sisterly because of how close in age they are. So she doesn't really call her aunt. That's cool. Whatever. Ain't judging. She says she's the happiest when she's away from her husband, which I guess that is kind of what really pushed, the whole, well, let's just go ahead and call this thing off. Dora feels, there should be what I put here? There should be a time limit when it comes to the whole divorce thing, where you don't want this thing to be drawn out forever, forever, and forever. Like, whatever it takes, like, let's get this, show on the road. And then Dora wants to know about TJ. Like, is that the person that you showed me? Like, what's his name and everything? And she was like, well, hopefully this turns into something else. And she tells Dora, well, it really hasn't and whatnot. They aren't sexual. But then Dora says, but you know what? That is a good thing. Because, it can't complicate things, whatnot. That's what, God wants this, that, and the third. So, and Stacy's like, okay, I appreciate that because I haven't been hearing that from the other women. So Giselle and Namza, hopefully I said his name right. I might just call him Ann. They go salsa dancing. It was nice. It was cute. We gonna move on. Now we're at the Love Lagoon. We have some mermaid swimmers, which is my first time seeing that. I thought that was cool. I thought that was dope. No lie. Ashley and Giselle are bringing their new dates. Jazzy, for the first time in a long while, shows up. I want to say I think that Stacy looked the best out of everybody, and then Wendy. Stacy looked phenomenal to me. She was dipping it and doing it. I loved it. So it's game time, and the first game is turn up the heat. I'm like, oh, here we go. I was like, okay. And the first question is, do you think your partner has ever cheated? I'm like, oh, I don't know. That could go left real fast. So Ray and Karen both say no, but Giselle just kind of like, okay, Karen, Ray might not have, but what about you? And I think it was weird. It was like either Wendy or Eddie said maybe in 1986. I'm like, well, first off, damn. Second of all, don't do the year that I was born like that. Let us not do that. Um, let's see. Stacy says, despite what Karen and Giselle said, that's going to be a no when it comes to TJ, the whole him having a whole nother life in LA. Giselle doesn't, feel that they are even a couple, and TJ agrees. I'm like, well, damn, Stacy. And my thing is, you can feel that way, but you don't never give that type of ammunition to anybody. And here's the thing: you don't know who is and isn't Stacy Ops. Like, you literally just gave somebody a full clip to air her out with. I'm like, damn it, Bobby. Anyway, where am I in my notes? So Giselle explains or says to him that, well, both her and Karen did say that she needs to try out a lot of different Chico sticks, a lot of different churros. And Stacy's like, okay, well, did you have to say? Now, mind y'all, I gave y'all the PG version, but she like, dang, did you have to say it like that? Like, okay, so, and Stacy is just flabbergasted at everything that she is hearing, right? Um, so Jazzy feels that her man may have cheated. Now, again, we ain't got a lot of Jazzy in a lot hot wow, and she even said, given the timeline, she will be a fool to not think so. But I'm just gonna let that alone, let it be. Mia says Gordon never cheated, but she has. Cause he never cheated because how can he cheat if she gave him permission and she was right there when it happened? But she has cheated on Gordon. Okay. The next question is, are you more dominant or submissive? Kay says, this may help you out, TJ, and TJ lets me know, okay, well, I'm not a virgin. I think we all knew that, but again, good to, put that into context. So at some point he decided, hey, not gonna do it with her. Cool. So Kay says she's submissive. Greg says he's dominant. Wendy says, is it Wendy? Yeah, that she's submissive. Eddie says he's dominant, but calls BS on Wendy because it's times when Wendy wants to be dominant and he has to, bring her back to reality. Like when he's like, come to the edge of the bed and she want to stay in the middle, and he has to pull her to the edge, and I'm just like, all right, well, we're putting a whole lot out there, but okay. Um, Mia says that she's dominant with Gordon, but not with Ink. Ink likes to choke her. When I tell y'all they was getting on Mia, like I can't wait to get on Twitter to see what. Because they're talking about jumping on trampolines, and of course you got to choke her. That's the only way you can hold. Oh, they was again. See, I'm saying like I like stuff like that, even though this not gonna be a long review because I'm like it is what it is. But I enjoyed the show, right? So Namza says he's dominant. Ashley says that when she's with women, she's dominant, but submissive when she's with men. Josh just said I'm dominant, but pretty much like there's more to it, but I ain't finna say nothing because he knew. And I'm like, you don't want to say too much because you give them any room to start not really calculating, but conjuring up stuff, they gonna do it. Like, do you not see how they treating TJ, sir? Just saying. Jazzy's man says he's dominant. Stacy says she's dominant. TJ said you will never be dominant with me. I mean, when I tell you, his huevos dry, I'm like, oh, well, all right. Had to let her know. Ray says early on Karen was dominant and used to tear him up. And Karen is just like, oh, why did you say that? It's the look on her face. Again, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I did. Like it's one of those where it is just refreshing, where it's okay, we've lightened up. We're not really focusing on the Mia drama and everything else. Like, I love stuff like this. And it ends with a dog barking and another dog walking up with some balloons. And like I said, I believe I said on the panel, like I guarantee you this is gonna be the end of the episode, and here we are. So that is all that I have. I know it's less than 15 minutes, but I mean, hey, get in, get out, right? I know y'all got other reviews to get to. So don't forget, we'll be at Sakina's house tomorrow for the Whether You Like It or Not panel. I will see you all then. So with that being said, I hope you all have a blessed week. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all then. Peace out.